Joy, I can't wait for this matchup. In large part because it's come a lot more polarizing. Some people think the Lakers don't have a chance. By some people, I mean me. Other people think that the Lakers will win in 6. By other people, I mean James Jones.
Yep.
So, Joy, who is more important to the Lakers' success? Family, is going to be a good show, so enjoy it. Who's more important to the Lakers' success, LeBron or AD?
Anthony Davis. Did you say he said they're going to win in 6?
6.
Oh.
Got the Lakers in 6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, so they're going to end it early.
Yeah. No game 7.
Okay. I didn't hear that part. I think Anthony Davis is more important, mostly because I think LeBron is going to do what LeBron always does.
Yep.
LeBron is an extremely consistent player. He is playing at a very high level. He is shooting at a high level. I think LeBron is going to show up. He's going to get his. He's going to do what LeBron James always does. Now, we kind of know what Anthony Davis always does against the Nuggets. So I'm sort of speaking out of two sides of my mouth here because LeBron is consistent and so is Anthony Davis when it comes to consistently not being able to do anything about Jokic. So this is more a hope and a wish that we will get a very competitive series because of Anthony Davis. But that's why I say he's more important to their success. Because even though he has been extremely healthy this year, the healthiest that he's ever been, and he has been consistent all year long, he's obviously an incredible player, one of the top in the league. When it comes to this matchup, he can't do anything. He can't provide the best of what he is against this particular player. Now, in fairness to AD, nobody can. Nobody is the Jokic stopper. I'm sure they're out there looking for him. They've yet to find him. Yeah. So it's not really an indictment of Anthony Davis that he hasn't been able to give Jokic some problems. But if he is able to do that, or if he is able to perform at a higher level, at least offensively, than he has in the past against this team, then I do think that they have a good chance for success. Now, we talked about all the other X factors that are going to play a role in the Lakers' success if they are able to have any against the Nuggets, D'Angelo Russell and so forth. But I think between LeBron and Anthony Davis's performance is going to have to be not only at the highest level, I think he's going to have to mix in some stuff that we haven't seen from him before against the Nuggets in order for them to win.
Joy, you make a brilliant point, and I agree with you. I think it's Anthony Davis. And Slick, I can't wait to ask you the question. Obviously, you have 30-plus years of NBA expertise that is invaluable to the viewers. I think it's AD because of what Joy said. There is no Jokic stopper. But if we were all collectively, we're going to look at every NBA player currently playing this year and just simply draft and say, who do we think can stop Jokic?
Yeah.
AD would be a top 5 drafted player. You look at Giannis, you look at Gobert, you might look at Embiid because of his size. I think he's a little heavy-footed, but you might look at Embiid. But somewhere along the line of prospective Jokic stoppers, if you were to draft and you're playing ball in Venice and they got Jokic and you got the other #1 pick and you need to stop this guy, you might draft AD. So if AD does play to his highest of potentials, not just offensively, but defensively, I think he's the most valuable and vital piece to this game because he has to do stuff on the offensive end, but he can maybe, potentially, hopefully, do something to stop the other beast on the other end. Where are you at?
Yeah, no, he's on my Defensive Player of the Year ballot. He was 3rd because he was so dynamic. This might have been the best I've seen Anthony Davis play in his career this season. Played 76 games. We always talk about it being inconsistent. I saw him play through a lot of nicks and dings, things that normally would have sent him to the locker room and we wouldn't have seen him again. He found a way to get back out there and continue to play. I don't look at it so much as it's dependent on him being able to stop Jokic because, to Joy's point, nobody's stopping Jokic. There is no answer to that riddle. No. But as I look at the Lakers are a terrible defensive team without Anthony Davis. They are a mediocre defensive team with Anthony Davis. The weight that he has to carry to make them mediocre is greater than any player in the league. I was asking a couple of GMs. I was like, who's the next best defensive player on the Lakers? One said Cam Reddish. The other one said Taurean Prince. That gives you an idea of the fall off there. And then I'm just looking at how they've performed over the course of the year. The Lakers were 2-4 without Anthony Davis. They were 6-5 without LeBron James. And if you look at who they played, like LeBron, LeBron took games off against lottery teams, or Anthony Davis took games off against lottery teams, and they couldn't beat them. LeBron was taking off games against primarily the majority were against playoff teams. So this series aside, the Lakers don't come close to being formidable without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, it's AD, and it's not close, man. We all know LeBron James is going to deliver. He ain't showed us nothing about him slowing down or that he's not going to deliver in big moments. We always say, if Anthony Davis can do this, if Anthony Davis can do that, if Anthony Davis can help LeBron. One of my favorite quotes is, you got to be at your best when your best is needed. It's time, man, for Anthony Davis. It's time for us to come out of a series and say, Anthony Davis was dominant. That don't mean you stop Jokic, but your basketball game was dominant. Rebounds. Jokic shouldn't be able to guard you neither. You 6'11", 7 foot, could dribble the ball, could shoot, could do, like, you're a top 75 player for a reason. Do that. You in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation for a reason. It's time for Anthony Davis to deliver and help LeBron. They don't have a chance in this series if he don't show up. I don't care how great LeBron plays. LeBron can have 40 and 20 every night. If Anthony Davis does not show up to help LeBron James in this series, it's going to be over. And it's not about stopping Jokic. It's about being you, Anthony Davis. You are a special basketball player. You have to do that consistently, especially in this series.
Question for everybody at the table, and I'm loving this conversation. Slick, I'll start with you. I want to pivot to Joy in a moment because, James, start thinking on what does showing up mean. Think on that because I want you to answer that. Last year, AD versus the Nuggets had 27, 14, 3 blocks, 1 steal a game. So talk to me about what showing up means. But, Slick, I don't know if AD has to stop Jokic, but I think about Kawhi versus LeBron 2014. Remember, infamously, when Kawhi checks into the game, LeBron checks, he's shooting a free throw, looks at the scorer's table, see Kawhi's checking in, and he's like, I got to deal with him again.
Yeah.
I think about when Kawhi won MVP, Finals MVP, if I'm not mistaken, that year. I think about 2015, Andre Iguodala, what he did with the Warriors. Iggy won Finals MVP, not for what Iggy did on the offensive end, but for what Iggy did on the defensive end. Iggy was a LeBron stopper. LeBron averaged like 35, 9, and 9. Go back and look it up. With that being said, is AD more valuable on the offensive end or defensive end? I don't need him to stop Jokic, but can he be the Kawhi to LeBron? Can he be the Iggy to LeBron? Can AD be that to Jokic?
No, that's not where he's going to make the difference.
Okay.
There is no, like, AD's going to raise his game to stop Jokic. Jokic has too many ways to beat you that way. The difference maker is going to be, and I think James was going there, which is, where has the fall off been? We've never I don't know that we've ever questioned AD defensively. Like, he's always rebounding fairly. It's offensively. Suddenly he goes from 25 points to 2. That's where, and in the big picture, if the Lakers are going to win this series or make it a series, it's going to be because offensively they give the Denver Nuggets more than they did last year. And for that to happen, Anthony Davis is going to have to be way more consistent offensively than he was. Sometimes it's not a matter of stopping the guy, but it's making that guy work so much at the other end that he's not quite as effective offensively.
Joy, question, what's it look like? Because last year, right, and I want to give grace to AD. Last year, he dropped 40 in the first game, and he had 10. I think he had 28 in Game 2 or Game 3. He averaged 27 and 14.
Yeah, that 40 helped.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But if you average 27 and 14 plus 3 blocks, plus a steal, plus 2.5 assists, 2.3 assists to be exact, that's doing something. Maybe it's not 27 and 14 is crazy. So I guess, Joy, when you say AD is the most important, what do you need to see? Does it have to be 40 and 15 for 4 games, for 6 games? Like, what are you asking for?
I mean, they only need to win 4. Listen, they're going up against the reigning champs, the best player in the league, a really dominant, well-put-together, balanced roster that has shown year after year that they are not only a team that is terrifying to play, but that they will wipe you off the face of the planet.
They will.
While you give your best performance. So what it's going to take is him to be spectacular. That's what James said. This is when it's required, right? The Lakers are not as good as the Nuggets. They have one of or the greatest player of all time, and they have another top 75 player in Anthony Davis. Maybe that's not enough. In order for it to be enough, you got to make it enough. Like, this is what it is. Well, Ma, it's not enough. Make it enough.
That's that Friday. Make it enough.
Make it enough. Exactly. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. Make it enough. That is what's happening here. So what we're asking from Anthony Davis is to be a superstar. Is to do something
and to do it every night.
To do it every night. And to do something that we require of you in this moment. You're going to have to rise above what you've done before, what is what is a normal request, what is an above-average request, which is a Hall of Fame request. Putting up all those unbelievable numbers was not enough. So, and it's not just on Anthony Davis. Obviously, LeBron is going to have the performances that he has. He also has to be spectacular. The rest of the roster is going to have to play all A games every single night. It's going to require an A++ performance and some luck along the way, some bad performances from some of the role players from Denver as well. Like, that's going to be the mix of this. Is it impossible? No. Is this big wishes? Yeah. Is this big hopes?
You're playing the defending champions.
But that's what it is. Like, it's going to have to be more.
Yeah, to your point. So, yeah, game 1, game 3 had big performances. Game 2, he was 4 for 15 for 18 points.
Thank you.
Game 4, 6 for 15 for 21 points. Those are okay numbers. But if you're going to beat the defending champions and you're arguably our most valuable player, you can't have off games. I mean, you can...
Not one slick? You can't...
Well,
not if you want to win the series, not one.
I mean, out of 4 games, like if you play 6 games and you have an off game, okay, fine. But
if you play 4,
if you play 4, I can't have two really good games.
And your off game can't match with somebody else's off game, or it's really going to be an off game.
And my thing is too is he's not going to outplay Jokic. We ain't gonna sit up here and say that, but he has to match him a little bit. It shouldn't be super lopsided. And I know Jokic dominates the game in different ways. He can pass the ball and all that. But AD shouldn't have 16 and Jokic have 35. Like, you have to find a way to match them the whole series. It can't be none of them games. If you have some of them games to where you're falling off, that means you're not playing like a top 75 player. That means I don't know what kind of player you're playing like. You are not going to even be in this series if you do not play like that. He has to match Jokic. Jokic is going to come to play. Anthony Davis is a superstar in this league for a reason. We talk about Anthony Davis the way we talk about him for a reason. He has everything. He has to show up and play. It cannot be a lopsided matchup here when you talk about them too big.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.